guys, today I'm going to go over how to do the worksheet on the Anagram project and planning your actual project. So this is an example. You can't see the whole thing, but it's an example of my project. When it's up on the wall, you can see it's a design. It's hard to see. It's a design from the left, and then it's a design from the right. So there are two different drawings that I did. And I cut them up and I added them to a folded piece of paper. Now, if you are in school, in my classroom, and you get the paper, you're going to be using 9 by 12 inch white drawing paper that looks something like this. If you're at home, you are going to be using 8.5 by 11 inch copy paper. Whatever you choose, you just need to stay consistent. Don't use one 9 by 12 paper at school and then one 8.5 by 11 paper at home. That would not work when you go to glue your final project. All right, let's talk about how we actually get these designs. So you're going to get a worksheet that looks like this, and your directions are this. Draw 2 examples of the optical illusions that you will use on your project. Do not copy directly from the handout, but modify, combine the ideas to make something new. Be creative. So what I did was I took my Anagram packet and I looked through it and I tried to see what would be a good design to use and combine with something else. I also have this optical art packet that I used in Art 2 for the skateboard project, and I used that to help me also. The internet also has tons of optical illusion designs, and you could use YouTube to also help you. So I've drawn out so far 2 different ones. And whenever you draw out your 2 different designs, you want to make them kind of contrast. Contrast meaning they don't look exactly the same as each other, because when you go to put them on the paper and you cut them up, you want them to be different enough so the viewer looks at them and says, oh yeah, that's the right side of the project. Oh yeah, that's the left side of the project. Okay, so use a ruler when you're doing this. I know you guys may not have compasses and things like that, but keep in mind if you're doing circles on your real project, you're probably going to want to find something to trace around, and then we can sanitize it, or possibly use a compass and then sanitize it if I get some new ones. Okay. All right, then once you have your drawing set, you can talk to me about them, or if I'm not there, you can just move on. And you're going to want to select your colors. You may use my markers on this project since there's only a few of you in my class. My markers are actually in the shelf, the bottom shelf, I believe, that says 8th hour where the portfolios normally go. They're shoved in that shelf. You can check and see if they're there. Now, the Mr. Sketch markers, the only thing about these is that they're not super like sharp on the ends, so you may want to keep that in mind. So when I am deciding what colors that I want to use, I want to make the colors contrast. And you don't necessarily have to use black in every one. Like, for example, this one kind of looks like a checkerboard. I wouldn't have to use black and pink if I didn't want to, but I would want to make it contrast. So if I found, it's not contrasting, maybe I do add some black. You want to make your color palette limited enough. I'm not saying you can only use 2 colors. There is no limit on that. But you want to make your color palette limited enough that you can see a difference between the 2 of them. So honestly, I probably won't use pink at all in my top drawing because I'm going to want the viewer to be able to see the difference. So maybe I'll use like yellow and black or yellow and orange or something like that. So I would go ahead and get an idea of what I want. You can also do this project in colored pencils. It's not a requirement that you do it in marker. It's just marker is a little bit bolder, so that's why I suggested it. Okay, so after I am done coloring these both in, I'm ready to move to my big project. I will take my 9 by 12 paper or 8.5 by 11, however you have it, and I will draw and replicate this to the best of my ability. Now, what you have to remember is this is slightly longer than what a 9 by 12 paper proportions are. So it's possible that you're going to have to adjust your design a little bit. Like there might not be this much room in the middle. I might have to squish it together a little bit, and that's totally fine. Then once you're done with your first artwork, your first drawing, then you're going to start the second one on the second 9 by 12 inch paper. Okay. Once those are both done, then you would move to the next video.